Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope all of you are doing well. So, today we will study this poem To a Skylark by William Wordsworth. So, you should know that Wordsworth has written this poem on a skylark. Skylark is a small bird which nests in a hole in the ground, and this bird often flies vertically upwards, singing sweetly and loudly. So, basically, this poem is written on a bird, skylark. And in this poem, Wordsworth describes different activities of this bird, skylark. And through the activities of this bird, he basically wants to convey this idea that those people, they are wise who are satisfied to stay at home wherever they go, whether in search of food, for different tasks, but their heart, their eyes, if they are always at home, so such people are wise because wherever they go, their heart is with home, because home is the ultimate destination where you reach. Okay, so as far as the thoughts are concerned, imagination is concerned, imagination and thoughts, they can soar high, fly high, they can touch even the sky, they can be that much high, but heart, it should always be at home, your ultimate destination. Okay, so just like that, he describes that how this bird skylark, though this bird flies vertically upwards above its nest, but the eyes and the heart of this bird, they are always at home. Okay, so this bond between this bird and its home, it's very unique, it's very beautiful. Okay, so as I have already told you that Wordsworth was a poet of nature, so that's why he has written this poem on a bird, Skylark. And in order to convey this message that such people are wise, who are satisfied at home, even their thought and imagination, it touches the sky, but their heart or their eyes, their feelings, their emotions, they are at home, they are related to home, or they know this connection or this link between sky and home. Okay, just like this bird skylark, it flies very high, but still this bird always keeps an eye at its home, its nest. All right, okay. So, in the previous poem, It is a Beauteous Evening, it was also written by William Wordsworth. So, I have already given you the brief introduction of the poet, that he was born at Cockermouth in the Lake District and educated at Hawkshead Grammar School and St. John's College, Cambridge. He was a poet of nature and he is regarded as the father of English Romanticism. Then I also discussed that publication of lyrical ballads with you, which was a collaborative work or joint publication by Coleridge and Wordsworth. So, this introduction was already given to you. So, let's come to the central idea of this poem. So, what is the central idea or theme of this poem, To a Skylark? Wise are those who are content to stay at home. Content, satisfied. Okay, here you should know one thing. There are two words, content and content. The meaning is different, the pronunciation is different, but the spelling is same. For example, if I say content, it means just like there are contents in your books. Okay? That is a noun, content. The other word is verb, content, which means satisfaction, happiness. So this word is a verb, content, which means satisfaction. Okay, you should know this. So wise are those who are content to stay at home while their thoughts are nonetheless, however, free to soar to heaven, soar to fly very high. So, such people are wise who are satisfied to stay at home. Even their thoughts are touching the sky. but they are wise that they prefer or they are happy to stay at home. Okay, so heart should always be at home. If you are thinking about something, if you are doing something, if you are engrossed or absorbed or busy in any activity, your heart should always be at home. You should think about your home, that is your ultimate destination. Just like this bird Skylark, who knows this connection, this bond between sky and home, heaven and home. All right? Okay, now the words and meanings. Ethereal, it means belonging to the sky and the air. Next, despise. Despise means to hate, to dislike. Next, aspire. Aspire means doing hard work to rise higher. Strive to rise higher. Strive means doing effort. Strive to rise higher. Then, quivering. Quivering means trembling or shaking with a slight rapid motion. It actually refers to the wings. Okay, so when the birds when they fly, so there is this a slight rapid motion or that sound is produced. Okay, sound of the wings when the birds fly. So that trembling or shaking sound which is produced with a slight rapid motion of the wings. All right. Next, twixt. Twixt actually means between. Okay, then warbler. Warbler means singing bird. It refers to a skylark again. Then privilege. Privilege means advantage, peculiar benefit. Okay, and the last one is kindred. Kindred means related, connected. So, twixt means between, warbler means singing bird, privilege, advantage, and kindred means related. Okay, so these were the words and meanings. Now, kindly open your books. It's page number 44. I will read out the lines and I will explain them for you. So, To a Skylark by William Wordsworth. Okay. Ethereal minstrel, pilgrim of the sky. Now, the poet is addressing Skylark and he is calling Skylark as ethereal minstrel. Minstrel, a singer, a musician. Okay, and ethereal means something related or belonging to the sky. So, ethereal minstrel, a singer or a musician who belongs to the sky. And the poet has used this expression for skylark, bird. The poet is addressing the bird. Ethereal minstrel, pilgrim of the sky. Pilgrim, visitor, traveler of the sky. Dost thou despise the earth where cares abound? Dost, do. Thou, you. Despise, hate. Do you hate the earth where cares abound? Where worries and pains live? Where worries and pains dwell? So, the poet is addressing the skylark and he says, O singer and musician who belongs to the sky, O pilgrim or visitor or traveler of the sky, do you hate this earth where pains and worries live? Because you always fly in the sky. So, why is it so? Do you hate the earth? Because it is full of miseries and pains and worries? Or while the wings aspire, while the wings aspire, while the wings they put an effort to fly higher, strive to fly or rise higher. Our heart and I, both with thy nest upon the dewy ground. Dewy ground, ground on which there are dew drops. Okay? Or while the wings aspire, our heart and I, both with thy nest upon the dewy ground? So he asks that whether your wings or you fly very high, you soar very high, but your heart and I, they are linked with, or they are always at your nest, which is there on the ground. Though you fly in the sky, though you soar very high in the sky, but your heart and your eyes, they are always at your nest, which is there on the ground. It means that the bird, though the bird flies in the sky, but heart and eye is always on the nest to protect its chicks. Okay? Just like human beings, they have children. So parents, they protect their children. Or while the wings aspire, are heart and eye both with thy nest upon the dewy ground? So the poet says that, O minstrel, musician, and singer who belongs to the sky, O traveler of the sky, why do you always fly in the sky? Do you hate this earth? Because this earth is full of miseries, worries, and pains? And then the poet says, while your wings, they put an effort to rise higher, although you soar or fly very, very high in the air, in the sky, but heart and eye, they are always on the nest. They are always looking at the nest, which is there on the ground. Okay, dewy ground. Then, thy nest, thy nest which thou canst drop into at will. Thy nest, your nest, which thou canst, which you cannot, thou you canst, cannot, drop into at will. Those quivering wings composed that music still. Quivering, trembling, or shaking with the rapid motion. I have already told you. So, now the poet says that the bird cannot leave its nest, or the bird cannot stop thinking about its nest. Why? Because chicks are there. Okay? Baby skylarks are there. So, those quivering wings composed that music still. So the poet says, thy nest which thou canst drop into at will. You cannot leave your nest at will or willingly. You are leaving your nest because you have to search for the food. You have to find food for the chicks. Okay? Those quivering wings composed that music still, but a very rapid, very trembling or shaking sound is produced from your wings when you try to soar higher, and it produces a still music, a kind of melody. So that sound which is produced by the wings, it's very calm, it's very beautiful. Okay? So first he says that as far as this bird skylark is concerned, that bird doesn't leave its nest willingly, but he has to, because of certain reasons. He has to, or the bird has to leave its nest. And then the poet says that a very trembling, shaking, or very different kind of sound is produced from the wings when the bird tries to soar higher. And that is a kind of music which is still, which is very calm, which is very peaceful. Next, to the last point of vision and beyond. Now, the last point of vision, the highest point at which the poet can see the small bird. Okay, and beyond that point, the bird becomes visible. Of course, you can look up to a certain extent in the sky. After that, that vision, it becomes blur. Okay, so the last point of vision, it means that the highest point at which the poet can see the bird flying. And beyond that point, bird becomes invisible. The poet cannot see it. To the last point of vision and beyond, mount, go up. Mount means climb, go up. Daring wobbler, daring, brave, courageous. Wobbler, this word is used for a skylark, singing bird. That love prompted strain. Love prompted strain. Prompted or prompt means to give rise to something. So here, love prompted strain means the skylark's love for its chickens, for its chicks. Okay? You should note it down with you. Love prompted strain. The skylark's love for its chicks, chickens. Okay. To the last point of vision and beyond, mount, daring, warbler, that love prompted strain, twixt thee and thine, a never failing bond. Twixt, between, thee, you, and thine, a never failing bond. So, twixt thee and thine, a never failing bond, it means the love bond between Skylark and its home, where chicks are there. So, twixt thee and thine, a never failing bond. Underline this line and note it down with you. It means bond of love or love bond between Skylark and its home and its chicks. Okay? So, to the last point of vision and beyond, mount, daring warbler. Now the poet says that this bird, it soars very, very high in the sky that it becomes invisible. And beyond that point, the poet cannot see the bird flying because it soars high in the sky and the poet cannot see it now. So this is the quality of a skylark, that this bird can soar very high in the sky. Go up. Okay? Now he says, go up, climb, daring warbler, climb more, go on, fly higher and higher, you brave and courageous singing bird, that love prompted strain twixt thee and thine, a never failing bond. So, your love for your chicks and your love for your home, O skylark, this bond between you and your home and your chicks, it's a lovelier one. It will never fail. Okay, so what does the poet say? He says that this bond between skylark, its home, and its chicks, it will never fail. It's such a lovely bond, such a unique bond. Though the skylark soars high and high in the sky, up to that highest point that even the poet cannot see the bird, but still the skylark thinks about its home. So, again I would explain, twixt thee and thine, between you and your chicks, your home, thine, your chicks, a never failing bond. This bond, this love bond, this bond of care and love between you and your chicks and your home, it's unbreakable. It's never ending bond. Okay? Thrills not the less the bosom of the plain. Bosom, it means chest, center of, just like chest is the center of human body, you see. So bosom of the plain means center of the earth somehow. Yet mightiest thou seem, mightiest, very great, very grand, proud privilege, privilege, benefit, advantage, to sing all independent of the leafy spring. Leafy is from leaf. Okay? So, thrills not the less the bosom of the plain, yet mightiest thou seem. Now the poet again says to the skylark that, O skylark, your melodious singing, your song, it is also heard on the ground as well as in the sky. It is so melodious that even it can be heard on the ground. Though the bird is flying in the sky and singing, but still the song and the singing is so melodious and mellifluous that it can be heard on the ground. Thrills not the less the bosom of the plain. So, O skylark, your singing, your song, it thrills the center of the ground because Your song and your singing is very melodious. Yet mightiest thou seem, and the skylark and the bird, O bird, you seem very grand, very majestic. Proud privilege to sing all independent of the leafy spring. And you have this proud privilege. You are blessed. God has bestowed you with such a melodious singing. So, this is a proud privilege. You should be proud of this benefit and advantage that your singing is melodious, which cannot be, which is not only heard in the sky, but it is also heard on the ground. And your singing is independent of any weather, any season, whether it's spring, it's winter, whatever is the weather, whatever is the season, your singing is always melodious. So I hope you are getting me, or you are understanding these lines. Let me explain these lines again. Now the poet says that as far as the singing of the skylark is concerned, it is so melodious that it is not only heard in the sky, but it is also heard on the ground. It shakes or it thrills the center of the ground because with the help of its melody. And then the poet says that the bird should be proud of itself. It's a privilege. It's a blessing of God that He has blessed skylark with such a melodious singing, which can be heard by anyone, whether in the sky or on the ground. And to sing all independent of the leafy spring. And this singing is independent, timeless, independent of any season. Whether it's spring, whether it's autumn, whether it's winter, the singing of skylark is always melodious and always unique. This is what Wordsworth is saying. Okay? Okay, next. Leave to the nightingale her shady wood. A privacy of glorious light is thine, whence thou dost pour upon the world a flood of harmony with instinct more divine. So, leave to the nightingale her shady wood. Basically, now there is a description or this mention of nightingale. This bird sings at night, and this bird also has a very melodious singing. So now the poet is addressing skylark, and the poet says to the skylark that, "O skylark, you should not go to the dark forest because you belong to the sky. Nightingale should be there in the dark forest because this bird sings in the dark forest, nightingale. So skylark should not go to the dark forest. Skylark should leave that place for a nightingale. Nightingale has to be in the dark forest." Okay? So, leave to the nightingale her shady wood. O skylark, you should not go to the dark forest. You should leave this place, dark forest or woods, for a nightingale. Why? A privacy of glorious light is thine. You have a very glorious light, O skylark. You should not go to the dark forest. You should fly in the sky. Skylark should not go to the dark forest. Skylark should fly in the sky because he has been blessed with this glorious light. Glorious light, something which is granted by God. So skylark has its own light, okay, which is very glorious, which is very divine, majestic. So skylark belongs to the sky, and skylark should not go to the dark forest. And skylark should leave that place, dark forest, for a nightingale, because nightingale has to dwell in the dark forest, and nightingale, it sings at night. So skylark should fly in the sky, in the light, because the skylark has a glorious light, and skylark sings in the sky. Whence thou dost pour upon the world a flood of harmony. So, when the skylark sings melodiously, a flood of harmony means that flow of melody, that stream, that smoothness of melody, that smoothness of singing, with instinct more divine. And that singing is filled with something very divine. Instinct means filled with, or something which is inborn. So, Skylark's singing is filled with something very divine. And it's just like a flow of melody. There is a flow of melody, flow of music in Skylark's singing. All right? Next, type of the wise who soar but never roam. Roaming means to walk aimlessly without any purpose. Okay? True to the kindred points of heaven and home. Kindred, related, connected. So, type of the wise who soar but never roam. True to the kindred points of heaven and home. Underline and highlight these two lines. This is the crux or theme or the central idea of this poem. That type of the wise who soar. Who is wise? Who are wise? Such people are wise who are happy or satisfied to stay at home. Who soar? Who fly very high? Such people who have very strong imagination but never roam. Their thoughts are never useless. Even if they think, their thoughts, they have a reason or a purpose behind it. True to the kindred points of heaven and home. So basically, the poet here addresses the skylark that, "O skylark, you are a wise creature. Though you soar, you fly very high, and you never roam. You never move here and there aimlessly. If you soar in the sky, if you fly high in the sky, there is a reason, there is a purpose behind it. It's not purposeless or useless. True to the kindred points of heaven and home. And, O skylark, you know this connection between sky and home, between sky and earth. Heaven, sky. So, what does Wordsworth say? He says to the skylark that, "Skylark, you are true to your nest, your home, and your sky. You keep a balance. You know the connection between heaven and home, between sky and your home, your nest, which is in the ground." So, just like that, just like skylark, those people who never forget their roots. You see, home is your root from where you come. So, successful and wise are those people that wherever they go, just like a skylark, they never forget their roots, their home. Okay, so home basically means from where you come, your roots, your background. So, wise and successful are those people who never forget their roots from where they come, wherever they go, how much high they fly in life. They are always careful about their home. They never forget their roots, their home. Okay, so this is the central idea or theme of this poem. Okay, girls. Now, as far as in your books, exercise, could you see on page number 45? Kindly open in front of you. Question number 1 is, write out this rhyme scheme of the 6-line stanza employed in this poem. So I simply want to tell you about the rhyme scheme of the first stanza, 6-line stanza, first one, which starts from ethereal minstrel. So, sky abound, I ground, will still. So sky and I, they are rhyming. A, abound and ground, they are rhyming. So B, will and still, they are rhyming. So C. So the rhyme scheme of this stanza, 6-line stanza, would be A, B, C. A, B, C. Sky, A, abound, B. I, now I is rhyming with sky. Sky and I, they have same sound. So again, I would be A. It would not be C. Then ground. Ground has the same sound just like abound. So ground would be B. Will, still. Will would be C and still has the same sound like will, so C. A, B, A, B, C, C. This is the rhyme scheme. So I will share question answers in the WhatsApp group, and if you do not understand anything, you may ask me. Thank you.